So here I am once more.
Captain Neo here, and this is the first installment of Notes on Neo. Let's turn back the clock to 1983. Go into my local record store. A friend of mine works there, and he takes me over to the import section, and he pulls out this. Script for a Jester's Tear. And he tells me, you must buy this. I even got the original sleeve. Cost me $11.59 plus tax. Take it home, put it on. Love it. Everybody says, and at the time people were saying this is like Genesis but with a harder edge. Kind of don't see that anymore, but begins my road on the life as Captain Neo. 1983 still. Marillion is able to tour, and they come through my town. I get to go see them. I looked up on the tour site, and it was actually July 15th of 1983. It'll be the one and only time I get to see them with Fish. They had toured again with Fish, but back in the pre-internet day, you never knew where they're going to be. We find out later, years later, that they were not that far away, maybe 3-4 hours away. Certainly myself and some friends of mine would have driven that to see them. But what are you gonna do? Now I'm looking. So not too much later, Fugazi comes out. Pick this up. Of the 4 studio Fish albums, which I'm only going to talk about studio albums, I think this is the weakest. Second effort. When I saw them, they did play Assassin. It was the only song that was new that we didn't know at that time. Then The Monster comes out, 85, Misplaced Childhood, which includes a big hit in England, got up to number 2, I think. Kaylee actually got some play here in the States, and they did tour with all this in the States, but didn't get to see them. Next up, and the last, of course, of the Fish Marillion albums, it's right here. Clutching at Straws. Toss up between Misplaced Child and Clutching at Straws, which of the Fish albums is the best. This will be the last Marillion album that I have on vinyl, because then the change comes. And we find out, again, this is 89, that Fish has left the band, but the band was going to continue on with a singer from the band Europeans called Steve Hogarth. Starting to worry about that. So it also becomes the next album, which will be Season's End. I do not buy right away, but eventually I break down and get it, and it is a great album. Great songs. King of Sunset Town kicks off, and of course it has Easter, which may be the greatest song ever made. So I'm back in with Marillion, no problem. Then the next album, and this is Holidays in Eden. And this one is spotty at best. It has some great songs like Splintering Hard and Cover My Eyes. But there's also songs on here that I'm told were from Hogarth's band before the Europeans, and that's kind of not quite the same thing. This is the last, it's not the last one I have, but I do continue to buy. And the next album, I believe, is Brave, and this is the album that kind of cuts Marillion in half, if you want to say, the before and the after Brave. I found out that big Marillion fans do not like Brave. People that do not like Marillion seem to like Brave. I don't know why that is. And at one time I did own Brave, but I gave it away or traded it or something with it because I really didn't like it. I never could understand what they were doing with it. And then now we get the other albums after that. I have owned some of them. I think I had Marillion.com for a while, Marbles. The last, and to go along with that, I have seen them, to go back. I definitely went and saw them because it's a great album. and they played. A friend of mine went. Great show. And I have seen them every time in the Hogarth here. They came through town. Holidays Needin'. The Strange Engine, I owned that one for a while. I think they came through 7 times. Last time was the Fear Tour in 2016. Because I remember that was the show. It was like the 5th or 6th game of the World Series. And the Indians won. Against the Cubs. And when it was at this place that's not only a concert venue, but it's also a casino. And one of the perks of going to a concert there is that you can go in and out because they want you to go out, because they want you to go gamble. So when we're leaving, friends of mine, who do we see playing the slots but keyboard Mark Kelly. So we get a chance to talk to him for a second, find out they're going to Toronto next. Got to tell him it was, I hadn't seen him. I think it was 8 years since they had come through before. It was a really good show. One of the things they always have done, they always play Easter, of course, but they usually, as I remember, they always did one Fish era song, and that time they did Sugar Mice, and it was a great version that Hogarth did. That's kind of where I'm at with Marillion. They did tour again in the U.S. the next year, but they didn't come anywhere near me. I don't even think they came even that close. Don't know what their next step is, but then we'll go on. This is, like I say, only the first installment of Notes on Neo. Next up probably will be Palace, because they kind of fed off of Marillion's success with EMI. The one thing that people cannot deny is that despite how much some people hate neo-progressive rock, it saved all of progressive rock, in my opinion. Marillion proved to the record companies that this stuff could still make money. Marillion was signed to a major label, EMI, which also Palace was, and with the big hit with Kaylee, they had label support, which many of the other ones up until now do not have that. Marillion was very, very successful with crowdfunding. They were one of the first bands to do that. It would be great to see if they would ever do something with Fishback. I think they do very well with that. And I've also obviously seen Fish solo several times. But we'll wrap up this Notes on Neo. I'll see you all.